Yo, what's going on, you guys? Here we are in Luke chapter 8. Finally caught up, man. You see how long just being knocked off balance just can set you back for so long. I spent 3 days trying to catch up on the days I was supposed to be on, and now here we are. So here we are. We're about to get into it. Luke 8. I would say I'm going to like this chapter because it has one of my favorite stories in here, which is the story of the farmer. It talks about the seeds falling on different grounds, and those who have ears to hear will hear what's going on, but you got to hear with the Spirit. I know in the story in the book of John, it's explained a whole lot better. Really, I'm sorry about that. Let's go to the book of Mark. It's explained a whole lot better. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this. So, Luke chapter 8. Woman who helped Jesus. Soon after Jesus was going through towns and villages, telling the good news about God's kingdom, his 12 apostles were with him, and so were some women who had been healed of evil spirits and all sorts of diseases. One of the women was Mary Magdalene, who once had 7 demons in her. Joanna, Susanna, and many others had also Joanna, Susanna, and many others had also used what they owned to help Jesus and his disciples. Joanna's husband, Chuza, was one of Herod's officials. A story about a farmer. When a large crowd from several towns had gathered around Jesus, he told them this story. A farmer went out to scatter seed in the field. While the farmer was doing this, some of the seed fell along the road and were stepped on or eaten by birds. Other seeds fell on rocky ground and started growing, but the plants did not have enough water and soon dried up. Some other seed fell where thorn bushes grew up and choked plants. The rest of the seeds fell on good ground, where they grew and produced 100 times as many seeds. When Jesus had finished speaking, he said, if you have ears to hear, pay attention. Why Jesus used stories. Verse 9. Jesus' disciples asked him what the stories meant. So he answered, I have explained the secrets about God's kingdom to you, but for others I use stories so they will look but not see. They will hear but not understand. Amen. So he just told you why he spoke in parables. He spoke in parables because some people will see what's going on, and they will see what's going on, and it said they will look and not see. So they'll look, but they'll not really know what's going on. And then it said they will hear but not understand. Tell me this, if it's your first time getting into the Bible, or if you have not been around other saints to grow in the Bible, do you understand what's going on? My point exactly. God made it where he wants us to count on each other. We got to count on other saints to help explain this to us, or you simply just have to be close and in tune with God, in tune with your spirit, that you really understand what's going on from a spiritual point of view, not an earthly point of view. Jesus explains the story about the farmer, verse 11. This is what the story means. The seed is God's message, and the seed that fell along the road are people who hear the message, but the devil comes and snatches the message out from their hearts. So they will not believe and be saved. The seed that fell on rocky ground are people who gladly hear the message and accept it, but they do not have deep roots, and they believe only for a little while. As soon as life gets hard, they give up. Verse 14. The seed that fell among the thorn bushes are also people who hear the message, but they are so eager for riches and pleasures that they never produce anything. Verse 15. Those seeds that fell on good ground are the people who listen to the message and keep it in good and honest hearts. They last and produce a harvest. Light. Verse 16. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a bowl or under the bed. A lamp is always put on a lampstand, so people who come into the house will see the light. There is nothing hidden that will not be found. There is no secret that will not be well known. Pay attention to how you listen. Everyone who has something will be given more, but people who have nothing will lose what they think they have. Jesus' mother and brothers. Jesus' mother and brothers went to see him, but because of the crowd, they could not get near him. Someone told Jesus, "Your mother and your brother are standing outside and want to see you." Jesus answered, "My mother and my brothers are those who hear and obey God's message." A storm. One day Jesus and his disciples got into the boat, and he said, "Let's cross the lake." They started out. Verse 23. And while they were sailing across, they went to sleep. Suddenly a storm struck the lake, and the boat started sinking. They were in danger, so they went to Jesus and woke him up. "Master, Master, we are about to drown." Jesus got up and ordered the wind and the waves to stop. They obeyed, and everything was calm. Then Jesus asked the disciples, "Don't you have any faith?" But they were frightened and amazed that they said to each other, "Who is this? He can give orders to the wind and the waves, and they obey him?" A man with demons in him. Jesus and his disciples sailed across the lake of Galilee and came to the shore near the town of Gerasa. As Jesus was getting out of the boat, he was met by a man from this town. The man had demons in him. He had gone naked for a long time and no longer lived in a house, but in a graveyard. The man saw Jesus and screamed, and knelt down in front of him and shouted, "Jesus, Son of God Most High, what do you want with me? I beg you not to torture me." He said this is because Jesus had already told the evil spirits to go out of him. The man had often been attacked by demons, and even though he had been bound with chains and leg irons and kept unguarded, he smashed whatever bound him. Then the demon would force him out into the lonely place. Jesus asked the man, "What is your name?" He answered, "My name is Lots." He said this is because there were lots of demons in him. Now, in the King James Version or the Gideon Version, it says legion, which means there are many. They begged Jesus not to send them to the deep pit where they would be punished. The deep pit is hell, so they knew Jesus already had the authority to send them to hell. These demons were frightened, and they said, "We do not want to be sent to the deep pit." A large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. So the demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and Jesus let them go. Then the demons left the man and went into the pig. The whole herd rushed down a steep bank into the lake and drowned it. Now this is why the Muslims don't eat pork. They said it's because when Jesus took those demons out of that body, I think they said there were like 7, maybe more, but he sent them in the pigs. So a lot of the Muslims consider the pigs or pork unholy food or unclean food. Excuse me. Verse 34. When the men taking care of the pigs saw this, he ran to spread the news in the town on the farms. The people went out to see what had happened, and when they came to Jesus, they also found the man. The demons had gone out of him, and he was sitting there at the feet of Jesus. He had clothes on, and he was in his right mind. But the people were terrified. Then all who had seen the man healed told about it. Everyone from around Gerza begged Jesus to leave because they were so frightened. When Jesus got into the boat to start back, the man who had been healed begged to go with him. But Jesus sent him off and said, "Go back home and tell everyone how much God has done for you." The man then went all over town telling everything that Jesus had done for him. A dying girl and a sick woman. Verse 40. Everyone had been waiting for Jesus, and when he came back, a crowd was there to welcome him. Just then the man in charge of the synagogue came and knelt down in front of Jesus. His name was Jairus. And he begged Jesus to come to his home because his 12-year-old child was dying. She was his only daughter. While Jesus was on his way, people were crowding all around him. In the crowd was a woman. Sorry, let me decline this for a minute. Okay. In the crowd was a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years. She had spent everything she had on doctors, but none of them could make her well. As soon as she came up behind Jesus and barely touched his clothes, her bleeding stopped. "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. While everyone was denying it, Peter said, "Master, people are crowding all around and pushing you from every side." But Jesus answered, "Someone touched me because I felt power going out from me." The woman knew that she could not hide, so she came trembling and knelt down in front of Jesus. She told everyone why she had touched him and that she had been healed at once. Jesus said to the woman, "You are now well because of your faith. May God give you peace." While Jesus was speaking, someone came from Jairus' home and said, "Your daughter has died. Why bother the teacher anymore?" Verse 50. When Jesus heard this, he told Jairus, "Don't worry. Have faith and your daughter will get well." Jesus went into the house, but he did not let anyone else go with him except Peter, John, James, and the girl's father and mother. Everyone was crying and weeping for the girl, but Jesus said, "The child isn't dead. She is just asleep." The people laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus took hold of the little girl's hand and said, "Child, get up." She came back to life and got right up. Jesus told them to give her something to eat. Her parents were surprised, but Jesus ordered them not to tell anybody what happened. So, This was the reading of Luke chapter 8. As we read and learn these teachings of Jesus, we understand that the biggest thing you have to have for God to do what he needs to do is faith. Faith is the most important thing you have to have. In Hebrews it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So if you do not have faith right now, I ask you right now to have faith. Believe in what you don't see right now. Even though your situation may look a certain way, have faith. Jesus will do the rest. He will grow your faith. Everything else will fall into place once you start having faith in God and in his word and in his son Jesus. I thank you guys for listening to this. This has been another great Bible reading. We will get into chapter 9 tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.